Back in with our boy Brooks Austin, the Film Guy Network over on YouTube. Started watching his stuff. He's got a great Tennessee Oklahoma preview on the channel right now. Let's dive into it a little bit. Brooks, before we start there, what's the biggest thing, your biggest takeaway from the last week of SEC football?
Man, you ask me this every week. Should come in prepared. Alabama still struggles with speed rush. Joey Aguilar is like, was he 100% on balls thrown 55 yards past the line of scrimmage on Saturday?
He was a 99.1 grade is what he was given his deep ball.
Absolutely unconscious. So those would be my two things. Like, Alabama still struggles with speed rush and can't consistently find a run game, which might bite them in the butt last year. Or this year, they remind me of a lot of. They're a much better team. They play together. They fight. They're better in the criticals than this team last year. But from an identity standpoint, offensively, they remind me a lot of that Georgia team from a year ago where it's like, hey, we're going to run for 3 yards a clip, so we might as well just throw it 45 times today and try to throw for 7 yards a clip because that's so much more efficient than running our head against this brick wall that seems to be this run game right about now against SEC opponents.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to keep trying to run the ball, establish it. You always hear that growing up, but it does seem like Alabama said, hey, the short passes are pretty good too. We can use that as a run game. Now, Tennessee, on the other hand, we talked about it. Joey Aguilar throwing that ball down the field. Just how impressive was his performance to you as you broke it down, what he did against Kentucky?
It's so funny because statistically speaking in football, the deep sideline go ball is the most inefficient and most statistically it's hard to do. The odds of you hitting that are not very high normally. And then you turn on the film and you turn on that game Saturday night, and that guy is walking down there handing them to his receivers. And I know you guys know this, but every time I rank him in the top 3 of my quarterback rankings, everybody's like, oh, no, this ain't. I'm like, guys, this kid's only going to continue to get better. I guarantee you there are still moments on Sunday when they're watching film where Heupel has to fully explain what they're trying to do systematically because this kid just got there in May. You know what I mean? We're still growing. We're still having new moments of aha, I would imagine, as a quarterback that hasn't been there very long, and he's dialed. He's absolutely dialed. He's been dialed since day one. He's been dialed since game 1 against Syracuse. So I've been extremely impressed from day 1, game 1, and I'll continue to be so, I would imagine, throughout the year. I think the other thing is, look, when McElroy is telling me how bad your neck injury is on a television broadcast, it's probably way worse than he's even leading on because the staff has been willing to tell the TV guy that this kid's hurt. And now he's going to go tell the world that he's hurt. Normally that stuff we keep in-house unless it's actually going to impact the kid's play. And I didn't see a kid that was very hurt against Kentucky. The kid was on fire.
Let's stop for a second. While you were talking about Joe, we got to give a round of applause to Mike Matthews, who started catching the ball.
Yeah.
You've been screaming about Mike catch the ball, and he's been catching the ball lately.
Yeah, that deep ball Saturday almost went through the wickets, though. If you see,
it almost did, but it didn't. It's progress.
If you see the end zone copy of that, Mike Matthews is like, "Oh, I caught it! Yay, touchdown!" So yeah, no, that kid is an explosive play waiting to happen. I've been doing a lot of these radio hits lately. And I was on with Alabama radio yesterday, and I told them something similar about Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams is never going to be and Mike Matthews is never going to be I had 12 catches for 110 yards type of day. That's never going to be his stat line. His stat line is always going to be, I went 5 for 165 or I went 4 for 96. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be fewer opportunities, fewer amount of times he's touched the ball. But when he does, he has an opportunity to flip the game on its head. And that's just what you should, wait around for and be excited for when it happens. And then when he doesn't make a play or when a ball goes through his hands or whenever something like that happens, just wipe your hands and move on to the next snap because the next snap might be another 60-yard bomb.
Talked about Joey Aguilar. On the other side on Saturday, Tennessee will welcome in John Mateer. John McClure is not the face of college football like he was through the first month of the season. He seems to be struggling. What have you noticed when watching Oklahoma's offense?
So my understanding of that thumb surgery was like supposed to be a 5 to 6 week timetable, and he came back in 17 days. So he rushed the hell out of it. I mean, to play against Texas, did everything he could to get back on the field, I think to a detriment of his long-term 2025 success, because I still see a kid that's not healthy. And this is a guy that, like, I tweeted about it, and Oklahoma fans hated me for it. And I broke it down on film and talked about it. And there are so many things mechanically about this kid that are not correct. They're not fundamentally sound. He floats from his right to his left the entire time, every ball he ever throws. He's from a 90-degree angle, which I'm fine from. I call him from the ear Mateer. I don't mind the throwing motion. It's all the movement in his body that creates errant misses. Now, that was when he was healthy. Guys, when this kid was healthy, he was like a 65% completion percentage guy, and not in a pro-style offense. Ben Arbuckle runs a very college-friendly, college quarterback-friendly, high-percentage offense. They're not a Kyle Shanahan deep play action. Like, it's not like that. Okay, so this was a 64% completion guy when he was 100% healthy. And now we're not mechanically clean. We're still not mechanically clean. And we have a thumb injury, and we're a 90-degree rotational thrower. Go try to throw a football from your shoulder column without a thumb. Just go try to do it and watch what happens to the football. You're going to lose the nose of it. It's going to spray all over the place. So now we went from a 64% completion guy that was extremely explosive to a 55% completion guy that's spraying it all over the place. And that's losing football. And you can see it in their play calling. They went from a team that was all John Mateer's legs and all John Mateer explosives in the passing department to, man, we got to shrink possessions and lean on defense.
Hey, Brooks,
you know what I mean?
You talked about the running game right there. That's something that jumps out, is that he's not as much of a dual threat. Is that by design because of the injury?
No, you can't do it.
Stuff? Okay.
I mean, God forbid he takes another errant contact off the thumb. You know, like I would have everything about when I watch Oklahoma football. It's why I don't rank him anymore in my quarterback rankings. They're not the same team. He's not the same player. They're not the same team. The coordinator's not the same right now. The coordinator is leaning on run, trying to shorten possessions and throw for 160 yards a game right now. That's not what they want to do. That's not what Arbuckle wants to do. Hell, I've seen this guy go no huddle and just randomly select and tag which wide receiver he wants to run a double move and a go route. Like, if you normally watch Washington State last year, if you normally watch Oklahoma prior to the injury, they're getting on the ball and realizing, hey, the middle of the field's open, double move the tight end with Kanik right now. Let's hit him with a 45-yard explosive. And instead, when they see that type of stuff, they're like, hey, we got to run the ball and try to get into 3rd and 2 so we can convert the sticks. It's a totally different football team and identity right now.
We know that this is probably going to be one of the best downfield passing attacks that Oklahoma faces, but how important do you think Joey Aguilar's legs are going to be to extend plays and drives when Oklahoma's faced a lot of those guys like Jackson Arnold, Arch Manning, Sellers, and Chambliss?
Yeah, we've obviously put out our standard, like everybody else does, YouTube type preview, where it's just me and two jamokes talking about the game. We're going to get up on the board and show you the why and the how of this game today. And the thing that I'm going to go study in between the 5 or 6 things I got to do today, the thing I'm going to study most is the matchup between Tennessee's offensive line and Oklahoma's defensive line. Like, you're talking about Joey running around. I think that's buying time. I don't think of Joey as a design quarterback run guy. I don't want him that way. I think he is so far and away elevating this offense that I would almost call plays as if he's in bubble wrap, because I'm not trying to figure out what George McIntyre or my man Merklinger's got. That's not what I'm trying to figure out. No offense to those guys, but this kid's going to throw for 4 racks, so we don't need to be running him. But I'll be watching what Tennessee's offensive line's got for this Oklahoma defensive line. Our Mason Thomas and number 0, I forget his name, all right, and David Stone, those are 2 great football players, and they can get home really, really quickly with a lot of power. So I'll be curious to see what that is. That's what I'm going to be preparing the fans for today. That offensive line matchup for Tennessee versus that defensive unit and all the different looks that Oklahoma throws.
The Film God Network over on YouTube. Go turn on the notifications for when that drops. Brooks, when you've watched Oklahoma's defense, are they as elite as the numbers say, or have they kind of beaten up on a easy schedule when it comes to opposing offenses they've faced?
Now, look, they haven't played, apart from Ole Miss was the only top 75 offense they had played.
Right.
Is that correct, Jonathan?
I want to say Michigan might have been hovering around there, but yeah.
Michigan top 67, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
So you're correct. They haven't really, quote unquote, played anybody, Paul. But I do think that defense is legit. I have always said, especially like through the first 4 or 5 games when they had consistent offensive pulse, if you give Brent Venables 27 points per game, he will win a national title. I think that highly of him as a defensive coordinator and a defensive play caller. But the problem is they ain't got no offensive pulse, or consistent offensive pulse. So in these games, it's hard for them to win. I told Jonathan before the show, and I'm probably going to pick it tonight in our show this way. I think this game's got a potential to be this week's Texas A&M LSU. I think this game's got a potential for Tennessee to maybe open up a can. And the reason being is because I think
let's go. Talk to me.
I think when I look at it, man, like the matchup is going to be about Tennessee's offense versus Oklahoma's defense. And I think those are 2 top 5 units going against one another. And then we got a Tennessee defense that in the box, which is the primary concern from Oklahoma, in the box is a top 10 college football program. Now, they're not very good at linebacker and DB right now. You know that. You watch them. But Oklahoma struggles in the box. They don't struggle. They don't have elite weaponry elsewhere like you guys been playing the last several weeks. Vols roll. You heard it here first.
Vols roll. Love that. Tennessee's defense, your level of concern with them moving forward, just real quick on the way out.
Is Jamad coming back?
He was on the practice field yesterday. Out there limited. I think they're going to see what his knee does, because he had got on the practice field a couple of weeks ago, Brooks, and then the knee kind of swelled up, and they're like, okay, let's monitor, and then was apparently out there yesterday, and by all accounts, everybody I talked to says that he's still going to try to ramp up and play at some point this season. Now, whether that's Saturday, I don't really think so, but, catch a bye week, catch New Mexico State, get ready for the stretch run, I still think is very much on the table. But I will say, I don't know if you're aware, apparently there's a little bit of injury concern going on right now with Colton Hood, where he dealing with a little bit of a pulled muscle in the calf, which, of course, is scary when you look at, across the NBA, all the calf injuries that led to Achilles and all that stuff. So I don't know how cautious they're going to be with Colton Hood, a guy that I feel like you can't really afford to lose right now, especially, with the thin secondary already.
Oh, man. It's tackling to me. The tackling's poor.
Yeah. And the coaches were talking about that yesterday. The coaches said, hey, we got Rodney Garner came out and said, hey, we're too damn good. I'm too damn good of a coach for the tackling to be this bad. We got to get it cleaned up. So it has been at least a big talking point. Tackling
and angles. Angles are bad.
Yeah.
Not leveraging the football, right? If you got outside contain, we need to keep outside contain. Right? If we're the most outside leveraged football player, he don't need to get outside of us. We need to turn it back to our teammates, right? That kind of thing. Just basic leveraging of the football and tackling is poor in the second and third levels of that Tennessee defense. Man, I don't know. At this point, I watch a lot of football, obviously. I watch a lot of tape. And I think everybody's bad at zone coverage right about now. Everybody but Ohio State. And maybe it's not defenses are bad at it, but offenses are getting really, really good at just being willing to go 5 yards in a cloud of dust all the way down the field. I can't tell you how many 10-play scoring drives I see nowadays in college football. Used to it was like 3 plays, 75 yards, or 3 plays and punt. Not anymore. And I think what that is a lot of teams playing zone coverage. A lot of teams playing cover 7. A lot of teams playing, hey, just keep everything in front type of defense. And that means we got to tackle well, and that means we eventually got to make a play. And I think Tennessee sets up well for that style of defense personally, because I don't think you can live on the edge. You'll die way too quickly. So just keep everything in front and hope that Joshua Josephs makes a play. hope that Jackson Moy makes a play, hope that Jordan Ross makes a play. And I think right now that's a good strategy because those are the guys making plays for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, and that's going to be important on Saturday. How does Oklahoma's offensive line? They're going to be able to hold up on the road against
young and porous. Young and porous. I don't understand. And for the life of me, I thought for 2 straight years, Oklahoma had major problems at wide receiver. Like, Deion Burks cannot be your best weapon. It just can't. It can't be what it is. All right? The guy who had 800 yards at Purdue cannot be your number one guy. It can't be. So they've always had problems at wide receiver for me, and they've always had problems at offensive line since Brent Brett's been there. So that's what I'm looking at. Like, how are you, Fasusi, a true freshman left tackle, how are you going to handle Joshua Joseph's playing with his hair on fire for 4 quarters? By the way, I don't think there's a football player in America that plays harder and more consistently longer than Joshua Joseph's, for my money. That kid, I love watching that kid play. Plays like his hair is on fire.
We needed this, Brooks. We needed the vibes to get picked up. Some people in Knoxville have been.
Are y'all down in the dumpies?
I'm not, but a lot of the fan base is. A lot of the fan base is freaking out about the defense. A lot of the fan base is freaking out. Like,
guys, let me talk to you for a second.
Break it down.
You pushed one wide right against a football team in Georgia that you had on the ropes, probably should have beat. Okay, you lost by 17 on the road at Alabama to a playoff team. You lost by 17 on a game that was swung by 14 points on one play. Smile, baby. Smile, baby. It's all good. Go finish the rest of the season, be a 10-2 playoff team that avoids an SEC championship game and lick them wounds and go handle business and hope that you don't draw Ohio State in the first round.
Please, God, no Ohio State or no Indiana either. Brooks, appreciate your time as always, brother. The Film God Network, go give him a subscription. Give him a watch when he gets his Tennessee-Oklahoma film study done. They got their preview up. Appreciate you. Talk to you later.
No doubt, boys. Y'all be good.
Brooks Austin's appearance was brought to you today by Inward Half. You see me rocking the hoodie. If you need a nice little light weather hoodie, I could not recommend anything higher than this Inward Half piece I got on right now. You can go get you one yourself in their fall collection, their campsite collection. What the hell they call this? I don't know what the hell they call it. You'll go to it, inwardhalf.com. Todd and my boys, great folks, make a great product, great gift for you as well. I guess it's not too early to start thinking about Christmas gifts. Inwardhalf.com. I've not had anybody buy one and tell me that they don't love it, so you can be the next. Shout out to Brooks. Appreciate him. Shout out to Inward Half. Sam, send us a break. We'll come back. We'll dissect what he said on TalkSports. Stick with us.